Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we got to talk. So, my name is Jordan. I own a few businesses, and the businesses that I do own make about $5 million per year. I saw a video that came across my timeline earlier from Club 520. This is Jeff Teague's. Jeff Teague played basketball in the NBA. This is his podcast. He was talking about a rapper named Finesse Two Times who was saying his family talks bad about him online because he's rich and he doesn't help them enough. So, I figured I need to play this video and then I want to explain to people how to deal with folks who are quote unquote rich and also give tips on how to approach these people who have money and also give you like insight, let you get inside the brains of some people who have money. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip real quick and then I'm gonna get to those 4 different tips after that.
And my brother keep it real. My brother a gangster. Fat Gravy keep it real. My daddy talk about me like a dog. Like a dog. Bro said he had to tell him, like, hey, Dad, don't do that. I done seen that man give you 4,000, 5,000, 3, 4 times, man. Don't do that, Dad. But when I stop, I'm wrong. I can't keep giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. I got dreams. I want a lot of kids. I gotta have something for that, for my dreams. And how am I gonna do for people when I don't have an abundance? I'm not even where I want to be financially. How can I overdo my part for you? Whoever. I'm not speaking on my mama at all. I'm speaking on family.
So some context behind that.
All right, so I think this is incredibly important, especially to the Black community, my community. All right, so this topic is extremely important. So let me get into the first thing first. Okay, so the first thing that we've got to understand about folks who quote unquote have money or who are rich, most of the time they don't feel like they are rich. And why is that? It's because they understand their expenses. They know how much they have to pay out every week or every month. And when they're paying all that money out, they know how much they have left. And most of the time, it's not close to as much as you all would think that's left. Okay. So at the beginning of this video, I threw a quick little test out there. And I told y'all that my businesses make $5 million per year. It's a fact. That's the truth. And they'll probably make about $8 to $9 million next year. When you hear that, the first thing that you probably thought was, oh, Jordan's rich. That's probably the first thing you thought. But I'm not rich. When I was a little kid and I would look at somebody who's in my situation, I would say, yeah, that guy's rich. But I know my expenses. My businesses make $5 million. That does not mean I take home $5 million. One business pays $42,000 a week in payroll, not a month or a year. 42,000, not 100, $42,000 a week in payroll. That's one business. Second business does about $16,000 a week in payroll. Third business, about $12,000 a week in payroll. Last business, about $7,000 a week in payroll. That's all per week, not per month or per year. That's all per week that I pay out. You see what I'm saying? So you hear the fact that my companies make $5 million and you think that it means I'm rich, but you haven't even stopped to consider what my expenses look like. And that's the same thing for this rapper here. Same thing for NBA players. Same thing for people who do movies. We hear about these folks who do $20 million per movie. Yeah, that's a lot of money. But I'm telling you, you have no idea what their expenses look like, how much they're actually having to pay to all these different people, how much they've got to pay to attorneys, how much they got to pay for an agent. All of these things they're all expenses that have to be paid from all this money that comes in. So that's the first thing. People who quote unquote are rich or who have money, most of the time they don't feel like they're rich because they know what their expenses are and they know what they have coming in at the end of the day is not nearly what you expect it to be. So just consider that, okay? The next thing is I'm a little different in this situation because when it comes to my family, my thought process is always, I've worked really hard so you won't have to work as hard. That's what I always think. That's just how my mind works. But the typical person, because I deal with a lot of people who own businesses, I've talked to a lot of folks who make millions of dollars a year. The way that they all think is not all. The way that most of them think is totally different than what I think. They feel like I've worked really hard for this and I didn't get any handouts, so you're not going to get a handout from me. I had to work for everything I got, so you need to work for everything you got. Quote unquote, pull yourself up from your bootstraps. You've heard that before. That's the way that most people who have money think. So whenever you come to them and you say, hey man, can I borrow $5,000? They're like, there was nobody around me that could give me $5,000 when I needed it, so I'm not going to give that to you. That's just how the majority of these people think. And I can only tell you that because I've spoken to them consistently. A lot of them are my close friends. So I know how they think, all right? So with that being in mind, if you do need somebody, if you do need something from somebody who has money or somebody who is rich, don't ask them for what you need. And don't ask them for a handout. Don't ask them for money. Instead, ask them for an opportunity. For instance, if you know somebody who has a marketing agency and they've got a ton of money, you assume they've got a ton of money. Don't go to them and ask them for $20,000. Instead, find out what they do, how they do it, start doing some research on the back end on what you think that you could help their business with, and then go and say, hey, look, man, I'm in this situation. I need like $20,000 more. I need to do something because I don't make enough for my job. Could you hire me for this position? Because what I think I could do for your business is this, this, and this. If you come to them with those opportunities, asking for an opportunity instead of asking for a gift, 9 times out of 10, they're going to see a hustle and they're going to want to reward that. If one of your cousins made a bunch of money by making music, you should do all kinds of research on how to market a music industry person. Market somebody who's getting into the music industry. Just figure out how to do some marketing. Figure out how to do some Facebook marketing for them, something, and then go to them and say, hey man, I've been doing some research. This is what I think I can do for your business. I would like to be paid this much. Let me know what you're thinking on that. If you come to me in that order, in that kind of way, most of the time they'll hear you out, and also most of the time they'll actually help you. Okay, the next thing. This is something that I honestly feel like this, and I've heard a lot of other business people have the same mentality, okay? So when someone asks for money and the response they get is no, most of the time people take it personally, but you shouldn't take it personally. And the reason why is because the people who have money, their minds work a little bit differently. Most of the time when they say no, it's not because they don't want to help you. Most of the time it's because they're thinking, I know how to turn $5,000 into $7,500 in just a couple weeks. And if I give $5,000 to this person, that $5,000 is going to go to zero in a couple of weeks. That's their thought process. I can double my money in 2 weeks. You're going to make my money go from where it is now to zero in 2 weeks. So they're thinking, why would I give you this money when I could keep the money and continue to double it? And in a couple of years, I might be able to give you $1 million instead of $5,000. I've had that mentality for a long, long time. People ask me for money. I don't get asked a whole lot. But when people ask me for money, that comes through my mind quite a bit, especially depending on who it is. I'll say, in my mind, I'll go, I'll give you this money, it'll disappear in a week's time. Or I could keep this money, flip it, double it, and then double it a few more times. And by the end of the year, I might be able to give you 5 times what you asked for today. So sometimes the no that you hear is not really a no. It's just a hold on. Wait a minute. I want to take care of you, but not right now. Give me a second to flip this a few different times. So that's the third thing. Okay. The fourth thing, if you are desperate and you have to ask for money, don't ask for, and I know this sounds crazy, but don't ask for a gift, ask for a loan. And if you are asking for a loan, Do not ask for the loan with the mentality of, I'm going to pay you back in 5 weeks. I'm going to pay, like, make it extremely reasonable, because the person who you're dealing with, the reason why they have so much money is because they know how money works. They understand how much money you have to make to be able to pay me back. If you ask me for $1 million and you tell me you're going to pay me back in 3 weeks, I know that's not reasonable. So it's the same way. If you ask for $5,000 and you say, hey, let me borrow $5,000, I'll pay you back. Give me 5 weeks to get you back. I'm like, that's not reasonable. It's not possible. You're not going to be able to pay me back $5,000 if you're only making $3,000 a month. It's not reasonable. So whenever you do ask for money, make sure that you ask for that money with the mindset of, this person knows how finances work. I need to really look at my situation, my financial situation, and say, hey man, let me borrow $1,000. I'm making $5,000 a month and my expenses are about $4,000 every month. That leaves me with about $1,000 of expendable cash. $1,000, I can do whatever I want to with it. I'll give you $200 of that $1,000 every month. So it's going to take me so and so months to get you paid back. If you come to somebody with that game plan, it's way more realistic to expect them to say yes, versus you saying, let me get $3,000, man. I'll pay you back in a couple weeks. Like, come on, guys. So those are my tips, man. So first, consider the expenses, okay? Because they don't believe that they're rich. Rich people typically don't think that they're rich, all right? So whenever you are looking at somebody who has money, consider the expenses first. Consider the fact that, yeah, their company probably makes $5 million, cool, but that doesn't mean they take $5 million home. There's taxes that's got to be taken out. There's all kinds of expenses. So consider the expenses first. The second thing is, don't ask for a handout. Ask for an opportunity. That will help. Third thing, don't assume that when they tell you no, that it's a personal attack on you. Instead, look at it as not a no for now, but just a wait. Give me a second. I'll get you later. Look at it from that perspective. And then the last thing is, if you do have to ask for money, make sure that you have a realistic plan on how to pay them back. All right. That's all that I got for y'all today. I think this topic is really, really important, especially for the Black community, because a lot of us come from situations where our mom and dad didn't make a lot of money. Our cousins don't have a whole lot. Our aunts and uncles don't have a whole lot. And sometimes we fall into money because we jump into the rap game, or we start a business and it blows up. And we're like, man, I can't believe this company is making $50 million a year. It's crazy. This kind of stuff happens all the time. And you come from a family with 15, 20 cousins and 5 or 6 siblings, and all of them is looking directly at you. It's like, dang, that's a lot of folks to quote unquote take care of. So if you are one of those folks who's expecting to be taken care of, please look at it from these 4 different topics, tips, tricks that I've just given you. All right. I know a lot of us have seen that show that ESPN did called Broke, and they explain how so many NBA players go broke after they retire. They make $50 to $100 million a year in their career, and they lose all of it just in a couple of years after they retire. And a lot of the time it's because they're taking care of 15 to 20 different people. They're paying mortgages of 15 or 20 different people, and they believe that their money will never run out, but it will eventually run out. It will. So that's my tips and tricks for y'all today, man. Thanks for watching the video. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, my name is Jordan. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. So take care. God bless. Peace.